Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are on this beautiful, beautiful day. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Jenna Lambert, and I'm the author of Offshore. I really appreciate that you are joining me on this deep end adventure journey. Today, I wanted to just take a minute to introduce you to one of my favorite people in the world, my sister Natalie, to give her the opportunity to talk to us for a couple minutes, basically about what her claim to fame is, some of her experiences, and what it was like growing up, I guess, with me, a person with a disability. So we'll jump into a couple of minutes here, and thanks again for joining us. Hi, Nat.
Hey,
How's it going?
good, thanks.
Good. So why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and what your journey has been like?
Sure. So I'm Natalie. I'm Jenna's younger sister, and I am 26 years old. I live in Toronto, where I'm a physical medicine and rehabilitation resident, which means that I've finished medical school and I'm in my 5-year specialization training to become a specialist of rehabilitation medicine. So we grew up actually here. We're on our farm right now where our parents live, which is wonderful. And Jenna and I grew up. She was 2.5 years older than me. I don't know. I think we had, like, as far as I know, a pretty typical childhood. I think that when you grow up with someone with a disability, especially as the younger sibling, that's just how it is. And I didn't know anything different. And I think it was amazing. We had a great childhood. Every summer we'd go to the lake. We would go to camp, whether it was Easter Seals Camp or Echo Lake. We would go traveling with our family, which was amazing. And I think mom and dad did an awesome job of really having us have fun. And sometimes they were adapted ways, but as a kid, you didn't even realize what the adapted ways were. Like maybe now when I look back, I realize, oh yeah, we went snorkeling on all our vacations because that's what was accessible and it was awesome and we all loved it. So I think that's probably a difference as I reflect, but growing up, it was amazing. And we obviously had some really great opportunities as a result of being more involved with the adapted community.
So I know I talk a lot, if people have checked out the website at all, I talk a lot about marathon swimming and a couple of questions about marathon swimming and common ones that we get. Tell me a little bit about your history as a marathon swimmer as well.
Sure. So actually the summer after Jenna swam, I wanted to jump in and start. And so I became the youngest person to swim across Lake Ontario in 2007. And it was quite a journey. That I would say I've done quite a few different marathon swims, probably more unsuccessful than not for different reasons in terms of weather and waves and illness. But so I initially tried in right after my 14th birthday in the beginning of August. We got 43 kilometers of the way across from Niagara-on-the-Lake to Toronto. And then we hit waves, huge waves. And I battled them for about 3 hours. And then we finally decided, for kind of safety reasons, that it would be the safest decision to stop. And then later that summer, at the end of August, I tried again, but this time from New York to Kingston, and I was successful. And Jenna was there on the swim. She sang constantly. I remember at one point she was dragging behind one of the kayaks because we swim at different speeds. And so she was dragging behind one of the kayaks, just singing every time her head popped up for a breath. She'd sing some lyric and then go back under. And it was at like 3 a.m. in the morning or something, maybe a little, maybe like 4 a.m. But Jenna's always been part of those swims, and that's kind of where it started. From there, I did Lake Erie. We did a huge triathlon together in terms of the biking part. And kind of endurance swimming was a big part of our summers every year from kind of age 13 to 18.
Yeah, absolutely. I wonder if you could talk a little bit about sort of the most challenging part of a marathon swim for you.
So I think the most challenging for me is the cold. I hate being cold, and on marathon swims, you're very, very cold. Especially kind of between the hours of 3 a.m. and 6 a.m. Right before the sun rises. And I found those times really hard. There's multiple different times that I've been extremely cold. I did actually one 10-kilometer swim up in northern Quebec that was really cold. The water there, I think was about 60, maybe 59 degrees. It was like close enough that they were thinking maybe we shouldn't do the swim, but it just made the safety cutoff, and so we did it. and you come out and you're just so cold. It's so hard to focus on other things. Your muscles are cramping because you're cold. On a marathon overnight, it's dark and you're cold, but you just have to find ways to kind of keep yourself either warm, whether that was pouring a bottle of warm liquid oatmeal over your head or a bottle of warm water for every half an hour, or just swimming faster, or just trying to keep your legs kicking a little bit to keep your muscles going, so you just generate a bit of heat. And then really eventually the sun always rises, and that was the best part, is seeing the very top part, like just the very start of a sunrise starting to peek over the horizon, and then you see more and you feel the warmth, and that's really, I mean, kind of the biggest challenge leads to the best reward.
I think you and I both have had those experiences where that light and that warmth and that sort of anticipation of the day that's to come has
Yes.
been the most important piece for sure. Thank you so much for sharing your experience. I wanted to just end with a final question, because I know in both of our experiences with marathon swimming and other aspects of our life, the support network ends up being sort of one of the most important pieces, right? Without that level of support and friends and family otherwise that kind of come around you to support whatever endeavor you're trying to do. I wanted to ask you just sort of what your perspective is on the importance of a support network.
For sure. Well, I mean, through all of our experiences, whether it was marathon swimming, where you literally have a flotilla of boats around you. There's a lead sailboat, there's a behind power boat, there's kayaks beside you, there's zodiacs running in between everything, which are little kind of dinghy boats. I mean, marathon swimming is one of the kind of greatest examples we have of how everybody kind of rallying around a specific cause to come together. But I think there's other aspects of our life that, just as you said, like for me going through all of my university and then medical school and now in residency, I have such a great kind of support network, whether it's my co-residents or my some of my staff, and our family, of course. And it's just really, when you have a common goal, you really have to have those people rally around you and help. And whether you're on the support crew, as I was on your marathon, or if you're the actual swimmer or the person kind of trying to go for that goal, it's so important to have that team and having kind of individual roles, whether you have the person who's like John Monroe was, the safety person who has that in their mind, or whether you're like Vicky and you're really that main person who's pushing you and supporting you and knows what you need. And then, or if you're mom and dad and you're kind of doing literally anything that they could to help us, whether it was providing food or running the Zodiac all night or staying up all night just singing from the front of the sailboat. I think that having different people with different strengths helping in terms of either you accomplishing your goal or being one of those people on someone else's support crew, I think it's so important. And to achieve big goals, you need that you can't do it alone. It doesn't work.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Nat. I really appreciate it. And you mentioned Vicky Keith, actually, and we're going to meet Vicky, world-renowned marathon swimmer, in a future post, so that's great. And I really appreciate your time today. Thanks for hanging out with me. It's nice to be able to be with my sister during COVID. And thank you, everybody, for watching.
Bye.
Bye.